to the 2022 Leadership Louisville Luncheon. Please welcome the 20-time National Championship University of Louisville Ladybirds dance team. Thank you, U of L Ladybirds.
Well, that is a nod to the first class and the best class of Leadership Louisville. And of course, I'm talking about the class of 2012. So a special shout out to all of my classmates who are here today, and especially Maggie Harlow, whose son was making mixtapes at Atherton when we were in class together, and now is making all of Louisville proud. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to this amazing new facility. This is the second year that we've hosted the Leadership Louisville Luncheon here, and it's not only a spectacular venue, but also a wonderful opportunity to be in the neighborhood where our community was built. I'm here today to represent the Leadership Louisville Center as the board chair, and I want to recognize my fellow board members, especially our past chair, Conrad Daniels, the president of HJI Supply Chain Solutions. Could you all please stand so that we can properly applaud your work? It has been a pleasure working with you, and it's my honor to serve as chair this year. The Leadership Louisville Center celebrates all of those who raise their hand to serve, and I know we have several elected officials and candidates for office who are joining us today. We've collectively had a few difficult years, and we applaud you for representing us, especially now, and when it's so critical to make a positive change a true reality. We invite all of our elected officials and candidates for office to please stand now so that we can give you the round of applause that you certainly deserve. Please join me now in recognizing all of our candidates and elected officials. Thank you for being here. So since 1979, the center has graduated over 15,000 leaders. Think about that, 15,000 leaders in this community who are now equipped to be stronger leaders and are also knowledgeable and inspired to make our community and our world better. This event is often the gathering place for community leadership program graduates to come back together and enjoy those relationships that began during the program. There is a special connection that happens when you share eye-opening experiences have difficult and honest conversations about the challenges facing our community, and then together become inspired to make a positive impact, and then go on to do the heaviest lifting of community change projects. Today we have hundreds of alumni with us, many of who are hosting a mini reunion at your tables. We all share that feeling that our class was in fact the best class ever. And if you are one of our alum, especially those who are reconvening with classmates, will you please stand and raise your hand or give a shout out? Let's celebrate your commitment to leadership in our community. Let's see ya. I love it. So thank you to all who showed up today to make sure that as leaders, we stay focused on the fundamentals. We have an incredible program ahead of us, and you'll soon meet leaders on the stage who share our hopes and intentions for creating a better world. I especially want to thank all of our sponsors who were here supporting this event and the Leadership Louisville Center and made today possible. So let's show them some appreciation class by class. And I want to begin with our friends, our presenting sponsor from LG&E and KU Energy. Thank you so much for your presenting support. Next, we have our platinum sponsors, and that includes Fifth Third Bank and T. Bain & Co. Thank you so much. Next up, we have our gold sponsors. That includes Beam Suntory, Brown-Forman Corporation, and Louisville Public Media. Thank you. Thank you also to our silver sponsors, Anthem, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Doe Anderson, Farm Credit Mid-America, Frost Brown Todd, HJI Supply Chain Solutions, Louisville Business First, and Tandem Public Relations. Thank you. Now, this is our largest event in history, and we also have our largest group of bronze sponsors. So if you will indulge me, this list is longer, and this list includes AJS Hotels, Argy Financial Group, the Boone Group, Caesars Southern Indiana, CBRE, JP Morgan Chase, DDW, The Color House, Denton's Bingham Greenbaum, Forvis, GE Appliances, a hire company, Integrity Staff Solutions, MCM CPA and Advisors, Messer Construction, MPI Printing, Northwestern Mutual, Portland Investment Initiative, PwC, Texas Roadhouse, University of Louisville, and the University of Louisville College of Business, Volunteers of America Mid-States, and last but not least, Waystar. Thank you so much to all of you for supporting our event. And thank you again to all of our table sponsors. So now it is my honor to kick off today's program by inviting our president of the Leadership Louisville Center, Cynthia Napek, to the stage to get this show started. All right, everyone, thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you here today, and I am feeling especially fortunate to have a leader like Jennifer chairing our board. She is the exemplar of our mission. She's doing a fantastic job at VOA. She is running 40 different programs in 4 different states, serving 10,000 of our most vulnerable population. And also, she's not opening 1 new facility, she's opening about 8. So, when our board was thinking about, gee, who should we tap? Who should be our board chair? We just thought, Jennifer Hancock really needs something else to do. Let's pick her. No, of course we picked Jennifer Hancock because she is a brilliant leader. She's a brilliant leader. Yes, absolutely. And we simply couldn't do what we do without guidance from leaders like Jennifer and from our entire amazing, talented board. So I'm grateful to have their support. It's an honor to be hosting this event here again this year. Since last year, this facility has continued to fulfill its promise to bring economic growth to an underserved community. It will be home to 3 national USA Track and Field Championships and the ACC, oh wait, hold on, I'm not finished, and the ACC Championship this year. The combined economic impact of just those events that I've mentioned is almost $10 million. Now you can applaud. I've heard Sadiqa say that this building stands for hope. Hope seeds big vision and it drives big accomplishments. So sitting here in the house that Hope built seems like the perfect place to have this event today. Our purpose at the Leadership Louisville Center is to inspire and equip leaders to be better and do better. This dual focus on growing the skills of the individual and then inspiring them to use those talents to better the community around them is the magic combination that we call social impact leadership. And we do it so well that we've grown to become the largest community leadership organization in the country. For those of you who are new to our work, we began in 1979 with our Leadership Louisville program, which just this month launched its 44th class of community leaders. Over the last 40 years, we've added multiple programs, each one bringing diverse groups together and impacting our region in different ways. We are also a membership organization with over 1,200 members who share our passion for leadership. And we're a training and development hub with skills-based leadership courses offered online and in person. When you spend time with us, we want it to be transformational. We strive to create spaces where we can have challenging conversations with diverse groups of people. Individuals may learn a new skill, like maybe a better way to communicate and have your message heard. But more often, the transformation happens because you met a new person who gave you the gift of perspective and created an aha moment that forever changed the way that you see the world. For the last decade, our most important goal has been to be a bridge builder, a leader in diminishing the social segregation that makes it truly hard to appreciate our unique differences. Because of this work, I'm proud to share that around 1/3 of our program participants bring racial or ethnic diversity. The Leadership Louisville Center is primarily funded by the tuitions we charge for programs and trainings. But we know that these fees can be a barrier, which is why our scholarship funds are so critical to the work of building a diverse pipeline in leadership. We awarded over $122,000 in tuition assistance last year for not-for-profit leaders, for small business owners, and members of underrepresented groups who might lack a financial sponsor. I'm hoping we might rally your support on this because the requests for tuition assistance were nearly double what we were able to give out. As we looked for areas to increase our ability to accelerate more diverse pipeline of leaders, we started to study corporate affinity groups. We started exploring how we could maximize these underutilized assets to connect participants to each other and also to leadership roles in our community. In 2019, we launched Inclusion, which is an advisory council of employee resource group or affinity group leaders to create a local space for these groups to share best practices with each other. We know of no other city who is working to harness this collective by providing a connected hub for the individuals in these groups to grow and learn. So we also invited Inclusion to advise the Leadership Louisville Center on how we might better serve them. With guidance from Inclusion council members, Leadership Louisville launched our newest program called Leadership Accelerator. It's designed to develop the high potential talent that can be found within the company's ERGs. Participants will grow their individual leadership skills, learn to build stronger affinity groups, and build connections in the broader community. Our first class launched in August and another will start in January. If your company shares our interest in this work, we are currently inviting more collaborators. So please let us know if we should include you. So if you cannot tell, I am extraordinarily proud of all of the work that our programs do to make this wonderful place we call home a fantastic place to live and to work. And I hope you don't mind if I take just a moment to brag on the amazing work of our alumni. So I'm going to do that, and when I'm talking, just know it's all about you, the best class ever. It's you know who you are. I'm speaking right to you, the best class ever. So I hope you're proud of what your work is, because I know I certainly am. As we equip or train our leaders, we facilitate positive community impact. We teach leadership skills, and our participants put these into action to address the needs of our not-for-profit community. We call these our community acceleration teams. And last year, 31 nonprofit partners benefited to the tune of over $300,000 in value and over 5,000 volunteer hours just from the Ignite Louisville and Encore Louisville programs alone. This is an example of the ripple effect that social impact leadership creates. While engaged with the Leadership Louisville Center, we create positive change for the individual and across the community. Another example of leadership in action is our Bingham Fellows program. We choose our topic each year to address the question, what is mission critical for our community to get right? Last year, we focused on creating a culture of inclusivity, and this year, we're focused on making our downtown stronger. We just opened applications for the 2023 class focused on building a future-ready workforce. So, if talent, retention, and attraction is important to you, I'm certain that no one is thinking about this. This is completely not keeping anyone up at night. If this is important to you, this might be your year to be a Bingham Fellow. I actually predict a record number of applicants because I think everybody's really thinking a lot about this. Earlier, Jennifer helped us celebrate over 40 years of our alumni who are doing amazing things in our community. And we're now ready to really light it up and make our mark on a larger scale. In keeping with our basketball theme, let me break down film on how we're going to dominate the court. I mean, we're not throwing up air balls here. We're nothing but net. We're so good. We remind you of Allan Huston dropping 53 points on the Lakers. We are putting up W's. No easy layups. We're a posterized slam dunk, and we're coming for you. I mean, we use the glass so pretty, they call us Dale Chihuly. Allan, how's my smack talk game? What do you think? Is it all right? Okay. And maybe I'm not ready to take on Larry Bird, but I'm gonna work on it and see what I can do. We do well because we are grounded in our purpose. Our purpose, as I shared earlier, is to inspire and equip leaders to be better and do better. Our community leadership programs fall under the category of do better, but we want to expand our offerings on the side of be better. We started offering more leadership training and development resources in 2015. Many of you have participated in our one-day workshops or our annual leadership summit. While this content was not specific to our city, our customer base was mostly within the Louisville region. Then the pandemic hit, delivering a whole truckload of lemons to us all. Like a lot of you, we spent the last 2 years just making sure that our lemonade stand was ready to start squeezing the opportunity that arises from change. So out of necessity, we had to learn very quickly how to get really good at delivering content virtually. We also started delivering content directly at your companies. Virtual learning allowed us to include not only your Louisville employees, but team members across your entire geographic footprint. So as we perfected our lemonade recipe, our customers continued to grow. And here's what's exciting for us. You'll see that our workshop participants have come from over 30 states and from several other countries. And if you add in our free microlearning offerings, it's over 10,000 participants from all 50 states. The world of work is changing, and your employees are located in cities across the globe, and we're serving them both virtually and on Main Street in Louisville. Thanks to additional collaboration outside of geographic limits, we partnered with our colleagues like Leadership Cleveland and Leadership Tulsa and nearly 20 other peers to expand our annual summit into a hybrid event with both virtual and in-person attendees. We think leadership development is a force for good in the world. We think our approach right here in Louisville is world-class. And we want to lean into this growth opportunity. So I'm very excited to announce something new for us, something that will enable better leaders, better results, and a better world. We promised that today would include some major announcements, so here's one. We're launching a new partner brand to expand the geographic audience for our offerings, and it's all about leading better. This will be a new brand for our skills-based workshop and our leadership summit, all of our offerings that are designed to help individuals and organizations lead better. So, what does that mean for the Leadership Louisville Center brand? It's not going anywhere. And our vital community leadership programs will continue to operate under the Leadership Louisville Center brand. So you'll see both of these moving forward. We see this brand partnership as an opportunity to take our social impact leadership further into the world. We believe that investments in individual skills does further our mission, and the revenue from leading better trainings and workshops will fuel that community work. Think of it this way. Have you ever bought Bombas socks, where a new pair for you also means a pair goes to others in need? Or when you buy Newman's Own food products, are you happy it not only feeds the hungry kids in your kitchen, but also like knowing that a percentage goes to feed hungry families elsewhere? It's kind of like that. For the individuals and companies who want to both train up your talent and at the same time make a social impact investment, Leading Better can do this for you. We're excited about the launch of this new brand, and you'll start to see this transition in phases over the next few months. As part of the rollout, we'll be sharing more information about opportunities this provides to put a spotlight on Louisville as the model for better leadership. So stay tuned and watch this space. So as a side note, I don't know if any of you all have ever had to launch a new brand. It's a very exciting proposition for me. It's like, we're just going to do a thing. We're going to pick a name. Poof, it's going to happen. It turns out this is a lot of work. Everyone has opinions. Everyone has feelings. Trademark offices have opinions. And I just wanted to do a little special shout out because the team at Doe Anderson and Wyatt has really been our Sherpas for this and helped us manage all our feelings and opinions so that we could actually get this on the ground so that it can do some great work for the Leadership Louisville Center and for all of the people who are interested in growing their own leadership skills and being on that path with us. So thank you very much to them for their help on this exciting endeavor. Yes, please, they get a round of applause. We were painful clients, man. We were painful. They should get a big round of applause. We're really glad to have help from a lot of our many friends and supporters, and certainly our keynote speaker and his family are in that rank, and I'm excited to have him partially because he brings dynamic energy to the stage, but also because Allan has agreed to help us with another very special announcement before he wraps up. So, when your office texts you in a few minutes, because I know they already have been, and they've got some crazy emergency of the day that they're like, can you just leave that event just a little early? Can you just slide out? Tell them no, because you're going to want to hang out with us until the very end of this event because we have more good stuff coming your way. Now, Speaking of bringing energy to the stage, LG&E and KU Energy is one of our very best corporate citizens. LG&E is committed to helping not only Leadership Louisville Center, but the communities they serve across Kentucky, especially in areas that assist their low-income customers, the environment, and education. Through the LG&E and KU Foundation, the company and their employees donate nearly $7 million annually to nonprofit organizations across the Commonwealth. In fact, they are a major contributor to this facility in which we are all having lunch in today. In his former role at Frost Brown Todd, LG&E and KU President John Crockett also served on our board of directors and continues to be a friend of the Leadership Louisville Center and actually a friend of mine. He's really quite a delightful community leader, and I just felt like, a regular round of applause just doesn't seem to do him justice. And then I noticed that we all have these wonderful gifts from LG&E, and could we make it like a concert and make John feel like a rock star? Oh yeah, see you all are, there you go. Let's make John feel like a rock star. Please help me welcome him to the stage, President of LG&E and KU Energy, John Crockett, but first please enjoy this video.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
At LG&E and KU, we're empowering Kentucky's future every day through sustainability efforts that energize our economy and help our light shine brighter than ever.
All right, thank you, Cynthia. I've never actually had walk-up music before, and if I were forced to choose it on my own, it might embarrass me and my family and everyone else. But in any event, thank you for the very, very kind introduction. I certainly agree with you that it's great to be in this wonderful facility. It always is. I just love being here. In the short time that it's been open, it's already making economic impact in our community, especially in the West End. Likewise, we at LG&E and KU Energy are proud to be returning as the presenting sponsor of today's event. Just as this facility is an asset to our community, so is Leadership Louisville Center and its focus on developing civic leaders. Without those willing to invest in our community, progress such as this facility does not happen. And developing civic leaders is the core of Leadership Louisville Center's mission and certainly a theme today. Today's keynote speaker, Allan Huston, and his family are shining examples of civic leaders making an impact. I've been friends with his mom, Alice, for many years, serving with her in the past and the present on civic boards, doing the work of the community that so many of you are involved in. And like most of you, I've watched Allan throughout his career. I was fortunate never to have to play against Allan. Had I might have been his very favorite defender of all time. But naturally, I was thrilled to get to introduce him today. A premier athlete, Allan was a Ballard Bruin and a Tennessee Volunteer, becoming a two-time NBA All-Star in his 12-year playing career with the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. He was a member of the gold medal winning U.S. men's basketball team at the 2000 Olympics. Always a pure shooter, Allan finished his career as one of the greatest long-range shooters in NBA history. Today, Allan is the New York Knicks Vice President of Player Leadership and Development and the founder of the social impact brand Fizzle, which stands for Faith, Integrity, Sacrifice, Leadership, and Legacy. He developed the brand to empower and equip leaders with these values. Fizzle has partnered with the NBA to create premium apparel and accessories manufactured in Africa with the goal of inspiring all people to develop a winning mentality. A man of faith and strong family values, Allan lives his life with determination to apply his success as a professional athlete to others. Since 2001, the Allan Huston Foundation has served thousands of participants across the country through programs that provide youth mentoring, responsible fatherhood, and entrepreneurship. In addition, he has served as a spokesperson for the National Fatherhood Initiative, an international ambassador to the NBA, and an analyst for ESPN. In recognition of his committed work to improve the lives of youth, Allan has earned numerous accolades and awards, including the President's Council on Civic and Civic Engagement from the Obama administration in 2011. Pretty appropriate keynote for our day here today for this organization, for this special time in our community, wouldn't you say? So please help me welcome Allan Huston to the stage and welcome home.
Thank you very much. So shout out to Daryl Griffith for that song. I had to pick that song. Any Louisvillian will recognize the significance of that song. 1980, every young person was thrilled. Man, I got to take this in for a second. You know, being at this track, can you all give Sadiqa Reynolds a round of applause? I don't know where Sadiqa is. So, yes, you don't have to stop. Yeah. Just real quick, Sadiqa, I know we're on a time crunch. So Sadiqa came up to New York and we sat down, and when she gave me the vision, and I felt a little way about driving up here today because it had been my first time. And my daughter literally jumped on this track, and she got to see it before I did. So anyway, thank you, Sadiqa. Thank you, Drad. I call him Drad, my brother-in-law, Condre Daniels, for allowing me to be here. Leadership Louisville, so many synergies, right, with what Leadership Louisville was doing. But that being said, I guess I'm here to have a dialogue, and I'm so excited to do that. I'm usually a shooter, a recipient, so I'm gonna allow a point guard who used to be a point guard, but my father calls him now a power forward. Good friend of mine. We grew up together playing with and against each other in Louisville. He has his own media and podcasting network, Kazukian. My good friend Larry Robinson, the former point guard, power forward.
Power forward. Come on, man, let's have a seat. Hey, everybody. Man, this is so surreal. I grew up like 3 blocks down the street from this space. And once again, shout out Sadiqa.
Yeah.
Congratulations for amazing facility. Congratulations for an amazing event. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Ready.
All right, let's do it. All right, so first off the top, you got to talk about the early years, West End, Grand Avenue. I saw you eating Frosted Flakes last night.
That's where we start, right?
So going back to Grand Avenue, this little kid is sitting there watching Saturday morning cartoons. Tell me about his environment and tell me what you would say to that young man.
Well, my sister was going to have some Frosted Flakes with me last night.
But you ate them all.
You know, I think growing up on Grand Avenue, when I tell people about being from Louisville, Kentucky, that's usually where I start. Because, you know, I realize a lot of people may not know who Allan Huston is anymore when I talk about that story. You know, I remember being just a kid, riding on our big wheel around our house 20, 30 times. And it just felt like every time felt like the first time. I remember going to Mayo High School, watching Griff, Bobby Turner, watching my dad coach. And I remember there's a picture of me standing in the huddle looking up at Mayo High School. And that gym seemed like it was as big as Freedom Hall when I was that young. And I just remember being around love, being around friends, the same love and respect that my parents get now. I saw them show that from an early age. And then I just remember being around my sisters, just family. I just remember family, and being around Louisville basketball from day one, and that's really what I remember.
Fantastic. Okay, so you've had a lot of awards. Ballard High School state champion, University, Tennessee all-time leading scorer, one of the Knicks all-time greats, NBA All-Star, gold medalist, now front office with the Knicks. What role did Louisville play in your development?
I always considered Louisville, I call Louisville the city of champions.
Absolutely.
Even before I even thought about having an NBA career or dreamed of it, and I don't even remember, I'm looking at my dad, I don't even remember like us having conversations about being an NBA player. My dream was to be a Louisville Cardinal. I had Louisville wallpaper. I mean, I knew how to draw the cardinal bird, like by hand. I could close my eyes. I mean, you know, I remember to this day, mother putting the Louisville patch on my face before the game of the 1980 championship game.
You're losing cool points.
No, I'm not. But what Louisville, I think Louisville, I tell people it's a mentality, right? Winning is not just the result of a competition, but it's the mentality that set the stage for how you approach everything. Mm-hmm. And I just saw such a high standard for life, for how you treat waking up in the morning and going after your goals, going after your dreams. You know, when I walked into practice sessions, you know, with Louisville, even at Mayo, I just got to see a standard of excellence. When I went to my mother's office, you know, she was a financial aid director, and my sister and I would close her office down, running around, but I saw how hard she was working to service students, even at that age and even at that stage. So there was a combination of love, commitment, and just a high standard for everything you did. And I think that balance of all is really with the struggle, right? Because if you're going after something to a certain degree, at some point, where's the sacrifice, right? Do you sacrifice family? Do you sacrifice your goals, your dreams to have a healthy balance in life? Mm-hmm. And I think what I saw was that balance of stern commitment, love, but a high standard for values.
Okay. So once again, how different are you from the kid that you used to dream you were going to be, the person you dreamed you were going to be?
Well, I know a lot of people saw me and they're like they were really looking at me, but they're looking at my gray hair like, man, Al, you getting old. I can see y'all looking, my gray hair. I think I'm different in that you grow, you get more confident. I remember watching interviews when I was in high school.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm like, you just cringe. You're watching yourself speak and your voice, and you're like, man, you know, even playing, right? So I think the biggest thing is confidence. And the one thing I learned, again, from being on that stage, so Griff and I were talking last night, Daryl Griffith, about 1986. We were shooting with each other at the Final Four practice. And Griff was rebounding. I was rebounding for Griff. Then he said, you go shoot. And he pushes me out further. I'm a night 13, 14. I never shot an NBA 3 yet at that time in front of 10,000 people. And he's pushing me out. Go out further. And I start shooting some more, and I start making some more. In those moments, you have to push yourself to be uncomfortable to develop confidence. Mm-hmm. So, you know, faith is something that has to be developed. It's not something that just comes and you just all of a sudden say, I'm going to go up there and do this. You have to work at it. So I would say to myself, a younger self, don't worry about what happens. Just go after it. As long as you're doing it with integrity and pure motive, just go. Just go and go with confidence.
You mentioned Allison Wade, and I can say from my personal experience how much of an impact they've had on my life. But I didn't get to grow up with Allison Wade. Two high-achieving individuals. What's it like to be raised by Alice and Wade?
Well, most places around the world, I'm Allan Huston, but I'm still Allison Wade's son. here
In Louisville.
Kentucky. And it should be that. Give him a round of applause, please. I mean, I don't know if we really have enough words or time, you know, enough. I don't know if there's enough in me to talk about the type of gratitude, what I've learned, but this example, you know, just a premium example. I think I've learned to be real, authentic. There's no, either one of them, there's no fake, there's no selfish motive, there's no inch or ounce of it. It's just pure love. And you can see from today, like I remember playing in NBA games and people would come up to me and my referees would say, man, how's your dad doing? In the middle of an NBA game, a referee, you know, because he coached or he played, or my mother, you know, I'll be somewhere in an airport and some young person was like, man, your mother changed my life. I have no idea who this person was. But it didn't surprise me, it didn't shock me. So then when you say what it was like growing up, it was, the high achievement was the end result. That was the icing on the cake, right? Okay. It was the ingredients, the pure, authentic love, commitment to each other, right? I mean, I don't know, Lynn, Natalie, you can tell me, but I don't remember seeing them go at it. Now, I know they had arguments. I know they had them, but I didn't see that type of expression around us. And it was just, that's how they operate. So when you see the result of what they're doing now, it's all authentic. It's the way you see it at home, to coaching, to leading, to community. It's all the same. Nothing changes.
Okay. Well, we always talk about Alice and Wade. We always talk about you. But you got two sisters, Lynn and Natalie. What impact?
Call her Patty, but it's Natalie.
What impact did they have?
Dr. Daniels.
Dr. Daniels, what impact did Natalie and Lynn have on Allan?
Sacrifice. There are a lot of things that they sacrificed, you know. And I talk about it all the time. From when I was 12, 13, driving to Georgia, Florida camps, you know, didn't have all the travel now, so we went to camps, basketball camps for a week. And they had dreams and goals and visions of their own, but they sacrificed. But I'm so happy and blessed to see what they're doing now. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Conrad, for taking care of our little sisters. You know, it's just amazing to see again the humility, right? The humility and the work ethic. You know, one of my former coaches said something in an interview that I'll never forget recently. He said, having the balance between confidence and humility is such a hard thing, right? Because when you're confident, you have to speak to yourself, present yourself, but you have to have humility at the same time, and that's leadership. And I think when I think of them, that's what I think about. Let's be real, you know, coming up as a young black women in education and professional, being an owner, being a CEO, I think that is the balance that they've drawn, and I appreciate that.
Transition to another important woman in your life, Tammy. You and Tammy have 7 kids. Now there was no stuttering there.
Yeah, you all took way too long to clap.
7.
Most
7
people
kids.
stand up when they hear that. And then they ask, is that by the same woman?
Okay, I gotta do it. Name all 7, go.
Remy, Allan, Rowan, Jade, Jody, Truth, and Asher. And I mean, you know, let's talk about Tammy. So I'll just give you a quick story about Tammy. Just as happened a week ago, my 17-year-old daughter in the kitchen, and she has this little smirk on her face. Of course, she's looking at her phone. I'm like, what are you laughing at? She's looking at her phone. I'm like, I don't know. She's laughing at me, her phone, a text. And she looked up, she said, it's funny, all our friends say they're scared of mom. I'm like, damn, I thought they were scared of me. No, they're not scared of you now. They're scared of mom. And it's, you talk about sacrifice, you know, we'll talk about Fizzle in a second. All those values are embodied in my wife, right? Ultimate faith, ultimate integrity, sacrifice. Just the transportation alone, right?
Logistics.
Yeah, logistics is a theme in our family. Getting everyone around, but I'm gonna tell you something. She makes me feel, and I don't know how this is gonna sound, but she makes me feel like a king. Like she's like you. She'll build me up. Like moments like this, she'll be like, it's not like what you doing now. No, this is your purpose. This is your calling. I'm proud of you. I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And I'm like, I don't even know how to receive it because she's made the ultimate sacrifice for us to be, not even me to be here, you know? Right. So, you know, please give a round of applause to my amazing wife, Tammy. I wish this was live.
So you have 7 children.
Yeah.
This is Leadership Louisville.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm a member of a Leadership Memphis, class of 2020, the best class ever.
I don't know. I was gonna clap until you said that, man. You know.
But which one of your kids is the natural born leader?
Oh, that's a tough question because this might take me enrolling in a leadership class from Leadership Louisville, answering this question. I don't know if I can say which is a natural born leader. They all have, you know, strong attributes, right? Because leadership is so many different ways. You know, you have your humble servant, you have your aggressor. Right. I think they all, you know, Remy, the oldest, did a great job setting the tone. Yeah. She did a great job setting the tone from her work ethic to them seeing how she got up every day. She graduated from NYU. She's working in lab research. Allan is a senior at Brown University playing quarterback. I just see their conviction. I think that's the one word that I think that we take their personality traits and we take these values and we say, what is your personality? What are your strengths? What are your gifts? How can we infuse these values so that you become convicted to lead? Right. It takes conviction. And one of the things we talked about earlier with Fizzle is like, what do you really even have a desire to lead? Right. Like, is that something that's natural desire, or what motivates you to do it? And I think that's what we try to do, going back to my parents. That's what I got from them is like, your standards and your values have to live. They can't just be talked about. Right. So when they're displayed, then I feel like I can look at each one of my kids and say, well, what is your way of going about life so you can be convicted to lead wherever that is for you.
So we're going to transition a little bit into Fizzle. Faith, integrity, sacrifice, leadership, legacy. Concentrate on those last two, with this being Leadership Louisville.
Yeah.
Leadership
Louisville, legacy, leadership.
Yeah, you know,
legacy.
alliteration, baby, alliteration.
Right. We are talking about leadership, and I was just saying, like, the thing that just real quick, the way Fizzle came about, everybody knows my relationship with my father. When I got drafted, I just had a strong conviction again to say, I can't hold what I received, what I got. I can't have conversation with my teammates about their fathers, who had an impact on their life. And it just really hit me. Like, I called them after practice one day, and I'm like, Dad, we have to do something to give what we had. This experience was too rich to not just hold on to. Started doing camps, clinics. I was on a plane one day, and the 5 words just came. It was a dump. And we started branding it. And I started thinking about how these values can be implemented into our life pattern, our mindset, and that idea that you have to be to lead, you have to be under someone. Like you have to be, like even in the Bible, there's discipleship. You have to be trained and you have to sit under someone to lead. To get to your answer, the first three I think, qualify you for leadership. Faith, integrity, sacrifice qualify. Now, when you're in a leadership position, I mean, we talked about the world needs leadership more than ever. We need spiritual leadership. And not just a leadership of, talking about your faith, but a leadership that's truly authentic, that's thinking about something higher, that's bigger than ourselves, that's tapped into a power that's bigger. And I find that that's what legacy is. It's when Kenny Payne, Darrell Griffith, not just talk about my father, but they talk about my mother and the impact that they've had. They say when I came to Louisville, because I walked in a home and they saw the same thing I saw every day. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they stayed in Louisville. That's why they came to Louisville. So legacy is about an eternal spiritual impact that lasts. I've had people to say something to me in 10 seconds, and I'll never forget it. But there's a spirit behind it and a power in it so that's where those last two stick out to me.
Legacy Place. That's the name of your home, your childhood home, or your family home.
Yeah, we didn't live there when I was 5.
Long way from Grand. Tell me,
yeah,
why is Legacy Place the name of the family home?
Everything we've just been talking about. It's just who they are. It's who they've contributed everything to who we are. It's every day of your life. Like, the legacy is kind of an extension of the life. So you say the word legacy, but it's what has already been planted and watered and grown. So we say that word, but it's already the work has already been done underneath the surface. So now what we try to do now is say the word and implement the word so it can do the reverse, so it can actually go back into young people and leaders and do the same thing.
Beautiful. I always say life's a team sport, and making an impact in our communities is definitely got to take a team effort.
Yeah.
How can we inspire others to really focus on our community, get involved in our communities, and lead in our communities?
So one of the things that we're doing with Fizzle is we're launching what I call a social impact global leadership team. I think you have to invest in yourself before you invest in others. Okay. When you make an honest and true investment in yourself, then you can have the capacity and a desire to invest in someone else. It's what this track is, right? It's what this is. Look at where we are right now. I mean, I'm still blown away. This is an investment that people have made in this community because they wanted to invest in other people. But someone had to consider it valuable enough to do it. Right? And you don't consider it valuable enough to do it unless you feel that strong in yourself to have the desire to do it. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I think it's I look at the stories that my mother told me about Muhammad Ali, who grew up 2 doors down, and the stories of when he sat with Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jim Brown, and when he sat with them, he may have been the most influential person to get the ball rolling in some of those. Right. Well, it was that important to him. Right. So how does it become that important to you to make that impact on somebody else and the community? And that's what Leadership Louisville is. It's training people to pull out in them why this is even important to you. Because you're not going to do anything that's of significance if you're not motivated enough to do it.
It allows you to develop professionally. The Fizzle ecosystem, you got a lot of things going. Kind of give the crowd some insight as to what's going on with Fizzle and what you're doing?
Yeah, so what happened was we were doing this leadership and life coaching work, and I walked into the NBA office a few years ago, and I wanted to be in apparel. I didn't know what I was doing. And my mother always teases me because, like, Allan always liked clothes when he was young. Like, I used to iron my pants when I was 9 years old. That's how much I really liked to. I did like to dress. I just did. And it made me. I look back. If you have a young person, they have a passion. You see stuff, channel it. Because I didn't know this was a passion of mine. Fast forward, I had a chance to get an MBA license for apparel. I didn't want to just be an apparel company where you just see a team logo and it looks bland, it looks plain. We wanted to add fashion, but we wanted to also add this element of what do young people really want to do. We're able to now have MBA license in fashion, Major League Baseball, WNBA. Now we have 50 colleges. And so now the dream is to have college students embody these principles that we've been talking about with leadership, train them to lead in their circle of influence and their interests, and have the apparel be a part of that process where they can create, they can design, they can influence. We know NIL, we know branding, we know everyone is a brand, everyone is an entrepreneur. So about 3-4 years ago, the NBA, we had a discussion with Fanatics in the NBA, and they said, we have this interesting organization reunion, and to really inspire young entrepreneurs. So what do you want to do? I said, well, we have to start in Louisville, Kentucky. So what we did is we created this platform where we crowdfund and resource entrepreneurs. And table 23, we have some of our founders here. Give them a round of applause. Founder Forward. So Founder Forward is a tech-based platform where startups can really understand what the capital they need, the resources they need, the leadership development they need, the community development they need. So NBA Cares, Fanatics all pulled in resources so that proceeds to some of our apparel can help resource. And it's been a blessing because the ending caveat here is where we're warehousing and distributing our product is none other than HJI, which is our family warehousing and supply chain. So it's like I go by this scripture that says when God says He can do more than you can dream or imagine in Ephesians 3:20, we take that to heart, right? And when you really pour into that and really embrace that, I think things that happen that you don't even really imagine or dream, and that's like I'm sitting up here just still in awe of this moment.
Right. Both of us. Both of us. So let's talk about your vision for Louisville. We both committed to Louisville's progression forward,
right? Specifically
the West End.
Mm-hmm.
What's your vision for Louisville, and how do you plan on continuing to implement it?
Well, I think part of what we just talked about, it's how can I understand and glean more from Leadership Louisville? I'm still in development. My brand, you talked earlier about the social impact of a brand that can say, we want to do well and do good, make product, but what if, every product that we sold did the same thing that the sock company did? That is my vision, so that the young people can understand how they can be entrepreneurs. I want people not to say, look at Allan's story, but I want them to say, I actually can do that as well. Right. Like we want to equip them and lead them to do the same thing, right? And I think that's what this is about. So how do we equip them? How do we lead them and be a resource to them? And my parents have done that. The family business is doing that, and that's the dream. I look at right across the lot. There's another piece of property. And I'm sure Sadiqa in the dream has other visions to develop something there. So it's like, how do we keep building on the vision together? How can I just understand more what's going on and play a role in that?
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, like any good point guard, it's an essential part of the job.
Did you just call yourself a good point guard?
I'm a great point guard, man. Male high,
Any good
brother.
point guard doesn't self-proclaim himself a good point guard. They let other people say that about him.
Well, this is me in my power forwards phase of life.
There you go.
So I'm going to pass the mic as I would pass the ball to you. And I think we got a special announcement of some kind.
We have something very special. By the way, I am comfortable shooting the shot, but since you want to pass the ball to me.
Obviously.
We've talked a lot about, my parents and their impact on this community, on me. When I go back to those 5 principles of faith and integrity and sacrifice and leadership and legacy, people talk a lot about my relationship with my father, and they have no idea the relationship that I have with my mother, and they really don't understand the impact that she has had, not on me, not on my family, not on the business, but on this community. And she has been a rock and a foundation, not just for our family, but so many people that we may never even know. My sisters and I may never know. And every day, we talk to her, she's like, yeah, I just had lunch with this state senator, and I'm going to St. Louis to be on this board. And one of the things I always like to tell people is how the role that she's played, even in this building. So every time I talk to Sadiqa, she's like, your mother was the first one to say, I'm in. And that was the siege. First one to say, I'm in. So when you think there's any little thing that you're doing, one thing that I learned from them, and this is a saying that I carry with me and I give to my kids and everyone, everything matters. Everything. Because we often hear our kids say, it doesn't matter. No. Everything matters. Every thought, every conversation, every look, everything. And that's what I learned, to be mindful that everything you do and say matters. And so that's why it's my honor. I got to stand up for this. Hold on. I can't sit down and say this. It's my honor. And I especially want to recognize her, Allan Huston, today for this special, special announcement and award and whatever else is coming. So, Miss Allan Huston, can you please stand up? We want to honor you. And you all, please, can you help me honor my mother, Miss Allan Huston? You see how slow she walked? I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So, I think we are officially, we're going to show a video, Mom. We're going to honor you.
A video?
Yeah.
He didn't come here to look at a video.
The data is out there. Firms with more women in senior positions are more profitable, more socially responsible, and provide safer, higher quality customer experiences. And yet, only 86 women get promoted to manager for every 100 men at the same level. And women make up only 21% of C-suite leaders.
We as women have proven we can do it. Studies have proven we have what it takes to be leaders, not just for our teams and in our homes, but at the highest levels of our corporations and communities.
Bridging the gap in the leadership pipeline for women really comes down to just a few important things: connections, confidence, and courage. For years, the Leadership Louisville Center has been making investments in women that do just that. We have been running our 100 Wise Women leadership series for a few decades. In addition to that, one of the other ways that we've been investing in women is through our series of workshops. And we're really excited because now we're going to be able to take all the things that we've learned and we're going to be able to go deeper, and we're going to be able to expand what we offer to help accelerate women in our leadership pipeline. We want to develop strong business leaders who think strategically and systemically.
Smart, transparent, authentic,
Excellent communicators who use their voice to influence up, down, and across.
courageous,
Connectors who employ emotional intelligence,
conviction,
the ability to delegate, to do better for their people and the communities that they serve. So when we asked focus groups, who is the exemplar of this? One woman kept surfacing as the best in class.
Alice Huston.
Alice Huston. Alice Huston.
my mom, Alice Huston.
Not only is she a business powerhouse, co-founding and serving as the CEO of HJI Supply Chain Solutions for several decades, but she's a servant leader. And she's been part of some of the Leadership Louisville Center's greatest hits, too. She served as one of our very first Wise Women speakers in 2008, and she was also a keynote speaker at our very first Leadership Summit in 2016.
She is a wonderful community leader and is unwavering in her support and care of the well-being of others.
The woman is energetic. I don't know how she's doing all this. I mean, she's everywhere. She's everywhere doing everything.
She is always so giving of her time, talent, and treasure.
And she's not just showing up to check the box. She's doing the work. She's doing the research.
She's able to say things that others may be reluctant to say, but she does it with humility. And Alice never forgets to say thank you.
We are thrilled to introduce to you today the Alice Huston Women's Leadership Program. This program is a 5-month cohort program that is specifically designed for middle managers to help really accelerate them to that next level of leadership. It will both cover some of the things that are unique to a woman's experience in the workforce, and also those leadership skills that we need in all of our leaders to really move our organizations forward faster.
I think the reason that this was the right program to honor her legacy is because she has been such an inspiration to so many women in our community.
I want to be like her when I grow up.
She has always been there to lend an ear and help to encourage and believe in the women in our community to take their careers or their families or their community work to the next level.
She's amazing. I can't think of a better person for this program to be named after.
And I know that that is what we are trying to do through Leadership Louisville, is help women to make it to the next level in their career.
And we're really excited to be able to launch this new endeavor, this new cohort program with her as our exemplar.
We may have put some peer pressure on Alice to accept this, but here's the thing. When we went around and we were talking to the focus groups, it was just pretty clear. We listed lots of people in this community who have exemplary leadership skills, lots of amazing women, and also there was just one clear name that kept coming up on everyone's list, and it was Alice Huston. And the fantastic thing for me was when people say your name, it's like, oh, Alice Huston, and then the whole room goes, oh, love Alice. And it's such just a rare thing to be able to be a person who gets things done and still walk out of the room with everyone going, oh, I love her. And we wanted to pick someone. I mean, you have been mentoring women in this community for so long, and so unofficially, the Broad Women's Leadership Program has always been the Alice Huston Leadership Program, but we're really excited to be able to actually do this. And so for decades to come, people will know exactly the kind of amazing leader that Allan Huston is, and you're such a good exemplar that it was just an easy choice for us. So thank you.
Thank you.
You want to say?
I just want to say, I want to say thank you. This is really an honor, and it's so humbling. And I had so many wonderful women in my life, and many of the wonderful women who are in this room. Sandra, I'm going to get you because you came in and you did not display anything like you knew you were going to be on the screen. But just thank you. We have things to do because women have such tremendous talents, and this community needs all of us, but they really need us. So we will, I hope that, and I'm going to say this, I hope that you will support this initiative, not for me, but because of the women it is going to serve. And this is not something that you take the envelope and move it from over here to over here. This is, I'm asking you to give more, to support the programs that Leadership Louisville already has, and to support this one, not for me, but as an investment for the wonderful women in this community. Thank you to you, the board, y'all, everybody. I feel like I've been at some kind of service today of the Huston family, but thank you.
And we're very excited to launch this program because we think elevating more women into leadership roles is not just good for women, it's good for business. And recent workforce trend, the data has not been great to women, so we've got a lot of work to do to look at gender equity, and this is one of those things that we can do to actually kickstart some forward momentum and start to recover from the last couple of years and actually make some good progress going forward. I mentioned earlier that our scholarship funds are a vital part of how we make an impact. So today we're going to ask you to please consider giving to support women in leadership and their participation in our programming designed to equip them for leadership growth. I mean, Alice said you should, and we should do what Alice says. She's a very wise woman. And we're going to make it easy for you, right? So easy, super easy button. We're going to ask you to text Women Leading to 44321, or you can grab your camera and use the QR code in the back of the program to make a donation. You can give a lot, you can give a little, you can give a little every month and it'll amount to a lot. But whatever your gift is, we want to thank you and say how much we appreciate it and how much we think it'll impact this community, and just to kind of celebrate you and express our gratitude for those of you that are able to make a contribution to the scholarship fund today. We do have a little gift for you, so as you walk out the door, for those of you that are able to contribute, make sure you grab your gift from the Leadership Louisville Center. So can we do, before we do one more opportunity for us, can we do one more round of applause for Alice? Yep. And also, I really want to thank, our amazing dynamic duo up here for all of their inspiring words, and can we give them a round of applause just for Allan and Larry for sharing with us today. We really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being part of this. Definitely appreciate having you as partners in this. So as we wrap up our program today, we have one more opportunity to celebrate, because that's one of the things I do love about this, is this event feels like a really good celebration of civic leadership. Part of the thing that we do is just being in a room together to remind each other how much this community of leaders can really get done. So we have one more thing to celebrate today, and I'm going to get a little help in celebrating. So if I can invite Kimberly Halbauer, Regional President of Kentucky Fifth Third Bank, who also is a board member for the Leadership Louisville Center, and also one of my favorite board members ever. I have a lot of good board members, but I'm really, really glad to have Kimberly on the board. So please welcome Kim, and she's going to help us close out the day.
Wow, I'm so inspired, and I feel like, Alice, I guess we're signing up. I mean, how can we not support you? So thank you to all of you, and I will say, coming to Louisville, I'm so inspired by all of the leaders in this community, but especially the female leaders that we have. It's certainly an honor to be here today with so many people. I'm representing Fifth Third Bank as a sponsor, and also Leadership Louisville as a board member. And at Fifth Third, we certainly believe leadership is important, and we're going to take what we learned today. I believe in a good call to action, so we're going to take what we learned today, go back, and bring that to our teams and our communities. For over 20 years, the center has partnered with the Office of the Mayor on this event. Upon taking office, Mayor Greg Fisher left his mark. So I want to take a few minutes to recognize his contributions to the center and to this event. For his first event with us, we had some fun. Louisville and Lexington coming together on the stage. Two new entrepreneurial mayors, Mayor Jim Gray and Mayor Greg Fisher, coming together to show what partnership's really all about. Next was one of the most exciting and unforgettable speakers, today's not included, Kevin Johnson, former NBA player and then mayor of Sacramento. You've crossed the aisle and brought mayors like Republicans Mick Cornett from Oklahoma City, who showed the benefits of local tax options and bipartisan solutions in his city. Joe Arnold's rendition of Oklahoma was another unforgettable moment, which we won't do again today. The slides on the screen are taking us on a trip down memory lane. Each guest mayor brought valuable lessons for Louisville, and many are prominent national figures, including another noteworthy speaker, the then unknown Mayor Pete Buttigieg of South Bend, Indiana, and now the U.S. Secretary of Transportation. In honor of your partnership on this event and so many contributions you've made to the Leadership Louisville Center, we have a special gift for you today. Mayor Greg Fisher, will you please join me on stage as we now want to make you an honorary alum of the Leadership Louisville program.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kim. Thank you, Cynthia, for another great Leadership Louisville annual banquet here. It's really been a pleasure to partner with this event over the past 12 years to bring in a lot of my friends from around the country to kind of show us what's going on around this great country we have right now. And I remember when I said, you know, we ought to bring in this guy named Pete Buttigieg from South Bend, Indiana. They're like, really? The mayor of South Bend? Why? I said, well, I think he might be going places. Let's check him out. So it was great to have him this year. And as a businessman who just happens to be mayor, if only for a few more months, it's really exciting to see the growth that we have around the principles of leadership here in our city. And I can tell you, as a father and a husband and a colleague to strong women, I am a huge supporter of women in leadership. And our city, and our state, and our nation are better because of women at the top. And Allan Huston is a tremendously impactful leader in our community. So I too want to say congratulations to Alice and to the Center on their wise launch of the Allan Huston Women's Leadership Program. And I want to throw our whole family in there with her. Wade, Alan, Lynn, Natalie, Conrad, Mo, and numerous grandchildren. We're just really grateful that Louisville is your home. Let's hear it for the Huston family one more time. So in the end, you know, in any organization, it is all about leadership in times of challenge and in times of triumph. And if you're around for any length of time, you're going to have both. Now, some more publicly than others, I might put in there. But on my first day in 2011, I'm a business guy, as I said, that just happens to be mayor. Great businesses are run by great values. So I said, what are going to be those values that are going to guide my leadership as mayor? Lifelong learning, number one. Health, number two. And compassion, number three. And the first fundamental, of course, was to build a strong, deep, and diverse team. Because I knew then that as we began notching successes, and we did, some of my team would move on to other platforms of leadership in the city and in the country. And I always feel like the leadership platform is a empowerment position to help others do good, to help others realize their full human potential. And that's how we define compassion as an action word in our city. And one of the joys I've had over these past 12 years has been watching great leaders develop on my team be recognized and go on to run very significant organizations. So just for a second, I'd like to honor those folks for a second here. We've had Anthony Smith go on to run Cities United. Yeah, Anthony. It's a good long list here. Teresa Reno Weber to run the United Way. Mary Ellen Wiederwall at Accelerator for America. Sadiqa Reynolds here at the Urban League in this beautiful facility. Ted Smith at U of L's Envirome Institute. Vincent James at Dare to Care. Keith Talley at El Home. Carmen Rivera at FMS. Eric Friedlander at the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services. LaQuandra Nesbitt running Washington, D.C.'s Public Health Department. Beth Niblock, who now is the Chief Information Officer for United States Secretary of HUD. Deborah Belitsky runs Waterfront Park. Lena Muldoon is running You Decide Kentucky. Adria Johnson, another leader at Metro United Way. And Matt Golden going to run the Jewish Community Relations Council. And Haley Stevens, now a member of the United States Congress. So really proud to work with all of them. And I hope you can tell that I figured out a long time ago that it's great to have good, strong, powerful women around you. I often say the world would be a lot better off if it was run by women. So sorry, guys, but we got to do better. I want to recognize Deputy Mayor Allan Huston, who's here, I believe, over here as well, who's done a great job running and leading our city over these past 12 years. So I'm really grateful for all of their help over their years, their wisdom and their support. Now, another fundamental we got to have is we got to have a game plan when you build anything. So early on, my team set on a path for Louisville's equitable economic renaissance, and the results include an unprecedented $23 billion in capital investments, the recentering of the local economy around next stage technologies, the globalizing of our city, the launch of urbanism, unprecedented investments in affordable housing and libraries, and the Involve 502 Promise scholarships that ensure every JCPS graduate now has a finance-free opportunity for a post-secondary degree or credential. Now, a third fundamental for our team was a commitment to continuous improvement, and the need for that was never more clear when tragedy struck Louisville and America in 2020. It was a difficult and challenging time, an often disheartening time, and a lonely time, frankly, to lead. But our team did not shrink from those challenges, and we knew that we had to honor the pain that so many felt, especially the families. So we accelerated our focus on tackling public safety challenges, dismantling systemic racism, police reform, and marshaling all resources to hasten Louisville's recovery from COVID-19. Sometimes it's easy to lead, sometimes it's tough to lead, but it all comes together and it's all an honor. And so there's still so much to do, and of course we're still at it. So as I close here, I want to say, we need you more than ever. Good citizens. 10 days ago, NBC released a poll that said 67% of Americans feel that the United States is on the wrong track. 2/3 of our country feels that way. And the number one cause for concern was not inflation, it wasn't jobs, it was people's concerns over our very form of government, democracy. That's what people are most worried about in our country right now. So we have a room of leaders here, great leaders that have done a lot of great things for our city. But I urge you, engage even more. Alice teaches us that, Wade teaches us that. When you think you can't do any more, take a deep breath and say, I can do more, I can help. That's why we're all put on the face of this earth. So we need more positive leaders who embrace change, challenge the status quo, especially when it comes to equity and compassion. We need leaders who don't mind making the tough and unpopular call. Now, I promised during my final State of the City address that my team and I would be running through the finish line. We got 4+ months left, and we got a lot left to do. I'm inspired by Muhammad Ali's challenge, right? Don't count the days. Make the days count. Every day, every minute of every day. And I'm pleased to tell you that even as we celebrate success at events like this, we are still making each day count. So I urge you to do the same. Get involved. Democracy is a contact sport. We need you, each and every one of you, now more than ever. So thank you for the opportunity to serve you over the last 12 years. It's been a great honor for me and my family. I'll forever be grateful. So with that, the program is adjourned. We will see you next year. Thank you again.